It's Christmas time. 'Tis the season to be jolly. Tra-la-la-la-la, la-la-la-la. Up and down the country this winter, men and women, boys and girls, bitches and hoes will be coming together to create one of the season's greatest creatures, snowmen. We're here in a new forest of Hampshire to find the markings of these beasts. Such markings will act as the start of an amazing journey through history, through science and through art to answer that age-old question.
Sleigh bells jingling, jing, jing, jingling, everything's alright. What a happy sight.
After stumbling around these forests for what seemed like 15 minutes, we finally happened upon exactly what we were looking for. The remains of a pre-millennial snowman. Such remains are an incredibly rare find. You'll notice a few things here. Firstly, the hat. Zoologists have determined that snowmen use their hats to keep their heads warm in the cold winter months. Also, a hat determines the social standing of the specimen. If it wears a beanie, it's ordinary, run-of-the-mill. If it wears a trilby, it's probably part of the gentry, a bit of a posh twat. Next, the scarf. Again, scarves can help determine the virility of a specimen. Those with thick scarves get plentiful snowwoman puss. Those with thins, little, and those without invariably die alone. The modern biological debate is on what the carrot's length implies and whether the number of buttons determines the snowman's age. There's still so much to learn about these fantastic beings. It's here then that our journey begins with the question that this phenomenal find poses. Where has this particular snowman gone? If he's here, where is he hiding? If he's dead, where's the evidence? And if he's alive but has gone, what makes a snowman leave their entire lives, their carrots, their buttons, for Christ's sake, their hats? What makes them leave it all behind? Where do snowmen go in the summer?
Sleigh bells jingling, jing, jing, jingling, Christmas trees.
We've come here to the Friggers-Heinz Institute for Sub-Zero Research to talk to Dr. Ipsum Gelidus, the world's leading and only snowmanologist. He's been conducting research for several years on the chemical composition on the residue left behind by snowmen.
We realized in the late 1970s that these snowmen leave a small residue called the poodle. Our English is puddle. As soon as we got these samples, we sent them to the lab for some testing, but we got nothing back.
What do you mean?
Well, you see, when we normally see animals on their deathbed, they don't have the same kind of recurring factors, including detrivores, saprophytes, and the small little vermi ones that wriggle. Is not my field. But after months and months of analyzing over 3,000 samples, we found none of these substances.
The snowmen haven't died.
Well, if they haven't died, it's like nothing we've seen before.
What are you doing?
I'm just trying to make this more epic.
So Dr. Gelidus' research was unable to uncover the enigma of snowmen anymore. Science couldn't prove whether snowmen really die. But could history help? We've come to the University of Southampton to speak to Dr. Killian Morden, author of So You Want to Learn of Snowmen, to find out more about the fascinating story of snowmen through the millennia. Like the duck-billed platypus or a seat on a train, snowmen were once the stuff of legends. They would only appear every few months. One would barely be able to spot them amongst the brilliance of snow, and then they would vanish. It was only in the 13th century that they were officially discovered and popularised by the then very bored and very grounded Prince Henry. Representations of snowmen have been at the centre of high art for centuries. Michelangelo, in fact, was commissioned to build Florence's snowman in 1493 when he was merely 19 years old. It was this that stood out on his CV when applying to paint the Sistine Chapel. The golden year for snowman activity, no doubt, was 1511 and the Great Freeze of Belgium. There are rumours, there are stories, exaggerated of course, that there were multiple snowmen on every street corner of Brussels. But, snowmen have been the allies of humans for hundreds of years. They acted as decoys for long-range missile fire and provided vital reconnaissance as snow spies in the Cold War. There's no videographical evidence, of course, but there's no doubt in my mind that snowmen have indeed died serving our queen and their own snow queens. So, our historian thinks otherwise. It's an inescapable truth that snowmen have, indeed, died before. So is that the end of our tracks then? No, don't be so silly. Dr. Gelidus, who researches alone because, well, let's face it, he's a bit of a nut, has more theories as to how snowmen die if they aren't killed.
Some holiday research in 1982 led me to a new fascinating discovery. I was redoing a litmus test on one of the poodles when I heard the voice of a young angelic choir boy. It led me through to the television set, and that's where I saw it, a snowman flying. If this one snowman could fly with this one angelic little boy, could not 100 fly together? Or 1,000 take over the skies? I've yet to find the little boy. Or the snowman paradise they all flock to. That's the dream. Me, the little angelic boy, and thousands of snowmen.
We've come a little bit higher in altitude, where it's just about possible for snowman life to exist. By the greatest stroke of luck, we've encountered a large male snowman. Out of season, they're known to be particularly shy creatures. We're going to try to get an interview with one. You ready? 3, 2, 1. Do you fly? Where are you? Where are your friends? Where are you living? Why are you so reclusive? We could get nothing out of him. Perhaps he had nothing to say. Perhaps he was shy. Perhaps language barriers.
Perhaps he was just a pile of snow?
Maybe. Maybe we're all just piles of snow. Maybe we're all just piles of snow. So, snowmen say less than shy monks. When he encountered this problem before, Dr. Gelidus hypothesized some reasons why snowmen might not speak anymore.
2 words. Shell shock. Quite simply, it's trauma. If you imagine seeing all your peoples cut down by some unknown predator, I would imagine you would want to speak after that.
So, what is the predator?
Some of my esteemed colleagues have hypothesized that the snowmen are actually cannibals. Imagine that. Snow fathers eating snow mothers, eating snow children. Until further evidence is found from the new pre-millennial snow remains, I don't think we can ever truly say what happens to snowmen in summer. It's one of those things that equally scares children and fascinate adults to this day.
And it's with that, our miraculous pre-millennial discovery in the New Forest, that we were finally, after years of speculation and debate, finally able to uncover exactly what happens. The result is not something Dr. Gelidus, nor arts, nor history, nor a 1982 film about a boy being abducted by a snowman could possibly predict. Chemical analysis from the premillennial specimen found at the top of our show reveals exactly what occurs. Here's what happens to snowmen during the summer. They melt.
Sleigh bells jingling, jing, jing, jingling, everything's alright. What a happy sight. Santa's busy as a bee tonight. Oh, sleigh bells jingling, jing, jing, jingling, Christmas trees aglow. Holly and mistletoe, and the widest kind.